Now Advaita Vedanta says that idea has to be abandoned. How? What idea? That there is a light, consciousness like a light, and there is a world. And the light is illumining the world, consciousness is experiencing the world. No. Why? Follow this carefully. That the light is different from this, whatever it shines upon. You can demonstrate. Look at the light, it's a different entity. Look at all this, these are different entities. You can see them separately. So the two things which can be seen separately, clearly they are two separate things. And you can say the light is something which is separate from the book and is shining upon the book. Example. But in the case of our consciousness, the world is experienced by our consciousness. Is the world which is experienced by consciousness something separate from the experiencing consciousness? If it is, if you claim that the world is separate from the experiencing consciousness, prove it. You cannot prove it. Because to prove it, you will have to experience the world apart from consciousness. But nothing can be experienced apart from consciousness. This is what Advaita is saying. And this is something, even till today, modern science, modern philosophy. I've talked to philosophers and I've talked to a neuroscientist also. Neither of them are convinced by this argument. And both of them said, there is no fault in the argument. You can't find a way out of it. There is no way of experiencing a world apart from consciousness. Of course you cannot. Because the world is not experienced apart from consciousness, instead of saying, my consciousness is witnessing a world or is illumining a world, I have to say, the world is in my consciousness. Now that which goes together and is never seen separately, we have to assume they are connected in some way. They are not separate existences. That's the position of Advaita. And therefore, consciousness is non-dual. There is no second thing. There is no second table apart from the wood. There is no second universe apart from consciousness. Here's a beautiful one. For God is infinite, within the body and without, like a mirror and the image in a mirror. Imagine a mirror. This is particularly dear to my heart because many years ago when I was a kid and we were driving in the family in the car, my dad was driving and we were going through towards our hometown. As we were approaching the hometown, there were no street lights there. It was very dark, a bit like Sedona. I mean, very dark at night, dark sky. And in the distance, the hometown, the lights of the city you could see shining. And you could see the whole city in the driving mirror of my dad's car. Somehow that really struck me, I don't know why. Imagine how thrilled I felt a decade later when I became a monk and I was beginning to read some of the texts, non-dual texts. There is one text called Dakshinamurti Stotram, written by Shankaracharya. And it starts like this. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam. This universe is like a city seen in a mirror. What is the mirror? It is you. You are the consciousness. Remember, nijantargatam means in yourself. In a city seen in a mirror, immediate doubt is, okay, there's a city outside and it's reflected in the mirror. Here it says, there is no universe outside. The only thing that is the mirror, is you. And in you shines this universe. Now, to your question, I'll answer the second one first. Renunciation for the householder. Ashtavakra is big on renunciation. Let go. And many people find that difficult. But remember, he's talking to whom? He's talking to an emperor. He's not telling the emperor to let go of the empire. Everything goes on as it is. You let go inside. If I hold on to one thing, one reflection in the mirror, if I hold on to as real, the whole thing becomes real to me. Step back from the reflection and be the mirror. You are the mirror. You are. When you be the mirror, it's not some kind of imagination you're practicing. It's the truth. You're staying with the truth. Right now we are living in a world of delusion and imagination. That's why we tend to get hurt so much. All water. The wave is water, that wave is water, in between is also water, the boundary also is water. It's one seamless water. In the same way, it's one seamless awareness, which appears as you, the subject, and the objective universe. You, the seer, and the seen. Swami Vivekananda says, one alone exists. It appears as nature and soul. Nature means this material universe. Soul means the experiencing person. It is one seamless whole, one endless, without any distinction, without any barrier, one awareness. The universe is one with you. Am I one with the universe? No. That's an interesting thing. All the movies on the screen are one with the screen. No movie, no tragedy, no comedy, nothing, good and bad movies, nothing can exist without the screen. But the screen is not one with the movies. The screen is completely independent of the movies. It can exist with a comedy, it can exist with a tragedy, it can exist without a movie. You are like that screen in awareness. All the worlds, they exist in you. None of them exist apart from you. But you, the consciousness, the awareness, you can exist apart from the worlds. When the worlds disappear in the great pralaya, the dissolution of the worlds at the end of the cycle of the universe, or in deep sleep, you are the awareness, you still exist. You are unlimited. And this awareness is not an object. Very important. Where is this awareness? What is this? How can I grasp it? You can never grasp it as an object. Krishna says, aprameya. It's not an object of knowledge. Reveal sound, scientific inference reveals scientific truths about the world. And all of them are powered, illumined by you, the awareness. None of them reveal you. You reveal them. Instrument of knowledge, pramana. The object of knowledge, prameya. And the knowledge, prama. Eyes are the instrument of knowledge. This is the object of knowledge. And the knowledge I'm having, that I see the book. All three are revealed by I, the consciousness. I'll put it together. You, the awareness, revealed by the method of drigdrishya, seer and seen. You, the awareness, revealed by the method of the 5 sheets. You, the awareness, revealed by the method of the 3 states, waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. That awareness is immortal, will not die, is not born either. It reveals the birth and death of the body. It reveals the transmigration, like that little girl going away from the dying body to its destiny. That subtle body going from body to body. That is revealed by you, the awareness. You are that immortal awareness. No death for you. Second, you are the reality. Everything else is only your appearance. You are real. The world is an appearance. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya means you are the reality of which the world is. You, the awareness, not you, the person. You, the awareness. The world is an appearance. It's not a second reality apart from you. Therefore, you, the awareness, are non-dual, Advaitam. Third, you, the awareness, are limitless. Space does not limit you because it appears in you. You are not appearing in space, just like a dream. Time does not limit you. You are the experiencer of time. Time does not experience you. No object, no being, nothing in the world limits you because they all are in you. Just as a wave cannot limit water, right? A wave cannot limit water because every bit of the wave is water only. Nothing in the world can limit you. You are unlimited. You are not an object. You are the pure subject. Aprameya. You reveal the activities of the mind, intellect, senses. They do not reveal you. You are the pure subject. Therefore, you cannot be known as an object. You cannot be seen, smelled, touched, tasted. You, the awareness. You cannot be thought about. You cannot be expressed in language. But all of that is being done because of you, your presence. You blessing the senses and the mind and the intellect. The senses can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Mind can think, intellect can understand, memory can remember. All of it functions because of you. All of it is active because of you. And remember, they are nothing other than you. They are all appearances in you. And you are beyond any kind of change. All changes are in this world of appearance. You do not change. Therefore, putting it all together, you are not subject to this cycle of birth and death. You are not a part of this chain of karma. You are not a doer of deeds, nor are you the sufferer of the consequences of those deeds. Though you reveal the entire game, it's only because you, the consciousness, the mind illumined by that consciousness and associated with the body, does deeds. And the so-called person gets the results of those deeds. Karma functions at that level. You are not bound by karma, but karma appears in you. So you are free of this whole cycle of karma. This freedom from the cycle of karma is called moksha, mukta. You say, but Swami, that means I am free right now. Yes, you are. You are free right now. As consciousness, you are free of karma. The moksha which Vedanta talks about, which all these systems of philosophy have been talking about, to attain moksha, liberation, freedom from cycle of birth and death, freedom from karma. You have it already. It's your very nature. You are free. Because you are eternal, immortal, because you are the reality of which the world is an appearance, non-dual, because you are limitless, in which time and space have their play, but you are not in that. Because you are changeless. Because of that, you are free of karma. You are free of bondage. You are liberated. Knowing this reality, understanding it, is the result of Shravana and Manana. Once some kind of clarity dawns, and you can see right now it's not all that easy, but once some kind of clarity dawns, then you move on to the next stage of making it a living reality through meditation. When we do it through make it a living reality through meditation, that is called Jivan Mukti. Living liberation, where we can actually manifest that, we can live that truth in our day-to-day activities, in the midst of aggravations, in the midst of being, acting like an embodied being in the midst of all of these others. So you will play this role of being the person, but now you know you are not a person anymore. You are an impersonal reality, an infinite impersonal reality. Living like that is called Jivan Mukti, free while living, and that's the goal of Advaita Vedanta. Quick outline, what did I do? What is Vedanta? What are the main texts? What it is not? What is Vedanta? What it is not? Vedanta is very simple. TAT TVAM ASI. What it is not. What is the process? Hearing, reflection, meditation. Then the actual inquiry, method of seer and seeing, method of the 5 sheets, method of the 3 states, all of these, they take months and months to explain. And there are talks and they're available all over the place. Then, having got a good grasp on what the teaching is, you explore it, realize your immortality, realize your infinitude, realize that you are the truth of which the world is an appearance, realize that you are beyond change and beyond death, realize that you are already free. Then make it living, make it a fact, make it effortless. Make it effortless, how do you do that? And that is what we'll see in the next 2 classes. If everything else disappears, consciousness alone remains. Suppose I stop thinking. I don't even think I am here, and stop thinking that. Am I still there or not? Many people don't understand, it's a subtle point. They think my existence is dependent on thinking. I'll tell you an interesting incident. We are studying philosophy, Western philosophy of mind at Harvard University. So naturally it begins with Descartes. And Descartes' famous cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I exist. So I asked the professor that Descartes, when he says, I think, therefore I exist. Now in deep sleep, he doesn't think, Descartes is not thinking, so he does not exist. And every time he wakes up, he comes into existence again. Every day, new Descartes is born. Hey, no answer to that. They never thought in this way. So, consciousness is not theoretical. It is absolutely real. Existence is not theoretical or philosophical. It's absolutely real. It's the foundation of our experience of life itself. Isness, awareness. And Upanishad is saying, you are this isness awareness. This isness awareness, Sat Chit, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, is immortal. It has no birth, it has no death. You have no birth, you have no death. Swami Vivekananda says in one place, the fall of this body for an enlightened person is as we are least bothered by the fall of one hair. The fall of a body is like that also. You will have no problem at all. Death may come, physical death may come and go. You are the reality, the isness awareness, which illumines the birth of the body, the aging of the body, the death of the body. Mental, happiness, misery. But I become so unhappy. I become so depressed. Unhappy, depressed, elated, enthusiastic. Mind. Consciousness, that isness awareness, is the isness awareness consciousness depressed? Never. It may illumine the depression in the mind, but itself is not depressed. It is free of unhappiness or depression forever. What does it need? Nothing. That non-dual reality, since nothing is apart from it, what will you need? It is non-dual. There is no second reality apart from it. This isness awareness, if I realize I am that, so ashnute sarvan kamansa, all that you could wish for is fulfilled in an instant. Because what you could wish for is not apart from you. Whatever as we think, I want this in the universe, but it is appearing to me in consciousness. It is appearing to me in existence. And I am existence consciousness. I give it existence. I reveal it through consciousness. I am the light which reveals the desired object. I am that existence which gives existence to the desired object. What thing in your dream would you want when you realize it's a dream? You realize whatever was in the dream, good and bad and ugly, it's I myself. I appeared in that form. Not the person, that isness awareness. In the dream, the dreaming mind appears as everything in the dream. In this waking world, it is that isness awareness which appears as everything in this universe. You are indeed everything in this universe. Whatever you experience in life, people you don't like, that also you are. So, you are this universe. We are all one isness awareness. And when I realize that, when I begin to see that, you don't have to become that, you already are that. We suddenly begin to realize, that's what I am. And then, first feeling will be a feeling of great relaxation. It's all right, you feel it's all right. Whatever will happen in life. Our problem is we take one part of this isness awareness, this body mind, and think I am this much. And the rest of it is not me. Then problem starts. Ashtavakra says that either I am all of it or none of it. I am pure isness awareness and none of these appearances. That's also all right. Or I am all that appears in this isness awareness. That's also all right. What we do is we make a distinction, sharp distinction. I am up to this, nakagrat, up to the tip of my nails, I exist. Beyond that, I don't exist. Then problem starts. All right. Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. So Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. What is this Brahman? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Limitless isness awareness is Brahman, and I am that. And that solves all my problems. So this is learning that we get from Taittiriya Upanishad, 2nd chapter. Good. Life and death are coming and going, one consciousness remaining separate from all. And then what did I have to do? That Swami told me. See, then you have to work double hard to establish oneness, because you have strongly established difference. And so that's one side of it. And the second side of it, he said, the Buddhist influence, it is true that Advaita Vedanta teaches the falsity of the world, Jagat Mithya. But that is something which was developed in very strong debate with the Buddhists. So this Jagat Mithyatva is not a central teaching of Upanishads or Gita. The Brahma Satya, that is the important teaching. And Jiva is Brahman, that is the important teaching. That identity, Mahavakya says that. Jagat Mithya is a very important teaching, but it's like a logical consequence of these arguments. So yes, you are right, sir. In my defense, I will say the reason I approach it this way is it's reasonable. It is analytical. It appeals to the skeptical mind. It appeals to somebody, as you said, the Vedic idea to strengthen that. But suppose someone does not have Shraddha in Vedas, and not Shunyavada, nor also Prakriti Purusha. That is not the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is Brahman of the Vedas, of the Upanishads. You're right.
Do you experience your ego if you sit quietly and do you feel I? Do you feel that? And you are the seer of the ego. Otherwise, it wouldn't be experienced. If it is experienced, it's an object just like this. Even the ego, even the I is an object identified with the ego, and we think we are the ego, and the rest of it flows immediately. The ego is identified with the mind, and the ego is identified with the body, and then we think we are the body and mind. This is how the mechanism works. And the whole purpose of Vedanta is to slice this connection between you and the ego. Body and mind will be perfect, continue working, and yet you will know that I use the body and mind. I am shining in the body and mind, but I am not the body and mind. So the whole strategy of Vedanta is to slice the connection, cut the connection, the apparent connection between you, the witness self, and the ego. Look again at the first line of Shankaracharya's beautiful hymn. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not the ego. Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. I am not the ego. Do you see how apparently contradictory it is? When you say I am not the ego, you know what you're saying? You're saying I am not I. The ego is the I. It says I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not the ego. I am not I. How could that be true? It's true because mind, memory, intellect, ego, they're all objects, they're all experienced. If they are experienced, a simple direct fact, I experience them. Hence, I cannot be those things. They are things. Just like this thing, just like this thing.
If I'm not the body, then what am I? That awareness, which cannot be objectified, to which everything else is an object. The world is an object, the body is an object, the mind is an object, even the ego is an object. To that awareness, you can never objectify it. You can never bring it forward. It's like somebody looking at something through a flashlight and wants to see the source of the flashlight. The more you turn it around, it's behind that. So in the same way, this consciousness, do not try to objectify it. Do not try to catch it. It's the real you. In Sanskrit, there are different names for it. Chit, pure consciousness. Pure not in the sense that it's a good consciousness without impure thoughts. Both pure thoughts and impure thoughts, good thoughts and bad thoughts, are illumined. They are objects for this light. It is pure in the sense it is contentless. When consciousness plus a thought come together, that's an experience. Consciousness by itself is like pure light, which reveals. The Upanishad puts it very beautifully. That shining, all else shines. By its light is everything lit up.
Dehatma jnanavad jnanam dehatma jnana badhate atmanyeva bhaved yasya sanechannapi muchyate. Very nice and humorous verse. He says, just as Shankaracharya himself says, and Vidyaranya quotes it, Shankaracharya says that Dehatma jnanavad jnanam, just as the knowledge we have, that I am this body mind, that kind of knowledge, with that conviction, if it comes, then it will be enough to negate this confusion that I am body mind. It must come with that much conviction. Then only it will be capable of negating it. The one who gets this kind of a knowledge in pure consciousness, that means the way you're confident, I am this reflected consciousness in this body and mind. With that much confidence, if you can say, I am pure consciousness. Chidananda rupa shivoham. Shankaracharya sings, Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. I am not the mind, not the intellect, not the memory, not the ego. Chidananda rupa shivoham. I am of the nature of pure consciousness. I am the nature of bliss. I am the nature of Shiva. With that much confidence, if you can say, and humorously says, Sa nechannapi muchyate. Even if this person does not want it, he will get liberation. Why? Because his very nature is liberation. That's why I say, don't be too eager to become enlightened. There are no, what do they call it in the shop? There's no take back, no returns. You say, I didn't want it. Oh my God, I'm liberated now. The game of life is at an end. Sorry, no returns. Once you have got this, he says, Nechannapi muchyate. Even if, he's humorous of course, even if he does not want liberation, he'll be liberated. Because you realize that you always were liberated. You are this pure consciousness, always liberated. Liberation comes choicelessly to such a person. But that much conviction must be there, that much clarity must be there. Summing up,
You cannot remove the blue color of the sky because the color is not actually blue. In the same way, there is no origination. From the point of view of that consciousness, there is no origination and there is no question of cessation also. Just as a person in the dream who seems to be born was really not born and really does not die. Just as the dream world was really not created and really not destroyed when you wake up. When you order pizza and you are eating and then suddenly you wake up in the bed and the bell and the alarm is ringing. Do you think, oh, did I put the pizza in the fridge? I'll have to, tomorrow when I dream, I have to go and finish the pizza there. Otherwise it'll be spoiled. No pizza was ever really cooked there, nor will it ever be spoiled. No origination, no cessation, no pizza cessation. What is true of the pizza in the dream is equally true of the world in our waking state also. That is what Gaudapada says. From the point of view of pure consciousness, the Turiya, this world neither originates nor ceases. This is the famous non-origination theory of Gaudapada, Ajatavada, the unborn nature of consciousness. You may say that we are born. Yes, but it is the body which is born. And even the birth of the body is not an event outside consciousness. Just like you see something in a dream, in consciousness, an experience takes place. That there is something called a body which is born, which ages, which finally old age and disease and falls apart. And yet all through, it was nothing other than consciousness. Just as in dreams, whatever happens, all through, it was nothing other than the mind, the dreamer's mind. That's what appeared as a world. No real world was created in a dream. That's what disappeared when you woke up. No real world disappeared. So no origination, no cessation, no birth, no death. You see, the traditional idea, God creates a universe, or the materialist will say a Big Bang created this universe. Gaudapada says, no, it didn't. God and the creation of the universe, the Big Bang, whether the materialist or the religious person, whatever the theories are, all of them are appearances in awareness, and you are that awareness.
Brahman, Atman, pure consciousness is asparsha. It has no contact with this appearance of the world. So Gaudapada has this beautiful verse, a slightly mischievous verse at the end, where he pokes fun at the yogis. He says, Asparsha yoga vai nama durdarsham sarva yogi bhi yogino bibhyati hasmat abhaye bhaya darshina. This teaching is called Asparsha Yoga, the path of no contact. And it is very difficult for yogis to understand this. It's very difficult for yogis to understand this. Why? The yogis are afraid of this path, are scared of this path, because they see fear in the fearless. Abhaye bhaya darshina. They are the ones who see fear in the fearless. Open your eyes, see the picture of the princess of Kashi. No, you'll be attracted to that. Don't open your eyes, keep your eyes closed. No. So, abhaye bhayadarshina, they see fear in the fearless. Once you realize this as Brahman, you are the fearless. This world itself is the fearless. There's no fear here. Sri Ramakrishna says, people call it, he uses two words, dhokatati, this world is a place of deceit and fraud. He says, but I see it as majarkuti, a mansion of mirth. What is the mansion of mirth? This world itself, after realization, after enlightenment. This world itself is Brahman, the mansion of mirth. Abhaye bhayadarshina. So let us put it all together. No mind. This teaching of no mind. We noticed that because of the movement of the mind, because of the mind, we tend to think that there is a world of duality. World of duality leads to bondage, non-duality leads to freedom. So no mind is the key. Amani bhava. How do you achieve no mind? The yogi says by samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. Shut out the world. Don't get involved in the world. Stay in samadhi and finally give it up. Vivekananda said, he who runs away to meditate and die in a Himalayan cave has missed the way. Don't look at the picture of the princess of Kashi. So that is one approach to no mind. Another approach to no mind is given by Gaudapada Acharya. He says, Atma Satyanubodhena, by Viveka. Atma and Atma Viveka, by the Viveka of self and not self. By the Viveka, by seeing that the self is eternal and not self non-eternal. By seeing that the self is unchanging and the not self-changing. By seeing finally the self is real and the not self is an appearance. By this Viveka, you will realize the self alone is non-dual. Advaitam. When you come to the non-duality of the self in this way, you have achieved Amani Bhava. And that Amani Bhava is permanent. It's not dependent on any kind of practice anymore. You see it as very natural. Very good. Let me do a peace chant and then I'll come back for Q&A. Right here, right now, myself. So the journey is not a physical journey, not in space, not in time, not from one object to another, not from the self to another. Rather, the journey is from ignorance to knowledge. That's why it's called the path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. It's extraordinarily simple and extraordinarily difficult also at the same time. Yes. But here all he's saying is, examine the notion of one thing pervading another. It's false. It doesn't work with Brahman. There is only Brahman appearing as a world. It's not Brahman pervading the world. Iti jnate parityattve, when one realizes this ultimate secret, bhedasya avasarakuta, where is the gap, the difference? What is difference? The three things I spoke about, space, time and object. Difference in space. Here is the earth and I shall attain religion and spirituality in another place called heaven. No. Difference in time. Here is now. I will attain God or whatever after my death. No. After enlightenment. No. Not even after enlightenment. That's how radical non-dual Vedanta is. After enlightenment, you only get to know enlightenment. To know. The bulb comes on. But the reality, when one becomes enlightened, does one think that, oh, I was Swami, now I am Brahman. No. One realizes, I was always Brahman. I was always Brahman. Even when the notion was there that I am a limited individual being. Even then, I was absolutely Brahman, all the time. So,
Bhedasya avasara kuta. Where is the occasion for difference? Bheda means difference. No difference in space, no difference in time, no difference in object. Right here, right now, you yourself.
Advaita makes the bold claim that not one thing which Advaita says is beyond your experience right now. Right now. The highest spiritual realization is not beyond your experience right now. It's right now, right here. In fact, there is a term in Kashmiri Shaiva philosophy called Patyabhijna. It means recognition. You don't have to be illumined or enlightened or anything like that. All you need to do is recognize. It's right here. You are experiencing it. You don't recognize it. You don't recognize what you're experiencing.
No one ignorant of spirit is born into his family. The fourth condition of the self corresponds to Om as one indivisible word. He is whole, beyond bargain. The world disappears in him. He is the good, the one without a second. Thus Om is nothing but self. He who understands with the help of his personal self merges himself into the impersonal self. He who understands.
Atma eva samvishati atmana Atma